Good morning, everyone. Habari zenu. My name is Mochai Gateru from Navari Limited. I'll be talking about the collaborations we have worked with in the ecosystem. Mostly these will fall under what we call compliance applications. When I talk of compliance applications, I'm talking mostly of integrations with revenue authorities. But before I start, maybe I'll start with an introduction. For those who don't know Navari, again, my name is Mochai Gateru from Navari Limited. Let me talk about Navari briefly. So what we do as a company is we do implementations and customizations. You are all here, you understand how ERP service business works. Our first project on ERPNext was 2018, and then we became Frappe partners in 2019. There was a Frappe partnership program then we came back in 2021. So we have been around for the longest time, I think, in the region. I'm not sure, maybe Omitesh or Akfatek. The team size, we are 17 at the moment. We have 9 ERP consultants, 7 software engineers, and 1 coordinator, the coordinator being me. And then mostly the other roles like marketing, accounting, we kind of share that. It's mostly me, Brian, Priska, anyone really who takes up all this. So the main thing I wanted to share with you is how we are collaborating with other people in the region. And how we are doing this. For example, in Kenya, the Kenya compliance, or the what we call eTIMS, because that's how it's known around here. We built with we built it on Frappe framework, but there's an integrator who sits in between us and the Kenya Revenue Authority. They are called Slate. I think they should be here. Then we have built something with Kenya Red Cross. They'll be doing a comprehensive talk on this for volunteer and member management. Then Uganda, we worked with another partner called ERP Champions, Moses, they should be here. Then Burundi compliance, we did that on our own. I think it was the first compliance we built. If I'm not wrong, it was built by a gentleman called Mani. We seated somewhere here. Then we have Nigeria compliance. We'll release it probably in a week or so. We are building with a company called Digitax. Digitax again, so what is happening here is Digitax, Slade, or Savannah Informatics. They get approved by the revenue authorities in all these countries. So for us who are building the integrations for ERPNext, it becomes super easy. Because the major challenge, especially on the integrations such as this, is I would say managing the bureaucracy. It's very painful. For example, Kenya compliance, we took almost 8 months trying to get approved, never worked. So we realized the better model is just to work with other parties that are already approved. So Nigeria, Zambia, like you see, for example, Zambia, there is 2 compliance applications. You might ask why, but you see now, the crystallized guys and Digitax, these are different vendors, and they go looking for their own customers. So whoever wants to use ERPNext, then they'll just get a compliance application. So that's how you end up with the same, more or less, application. Maybe we'll figure out how to match them along the way. So probably in the near future, some of the communications we have gotten on how to build this is Malawi compliance and Zimbabwe compliance. I don't know if the guys who contacted us are here. But normally how it works is someone just chats us or sends us an email. And then they're like, I saw you built this, can we do it? I'm like, yes, just share documentation, maybe you can cover the cost. And then we just do it, for example. For the Kenya compliance, we have planned to build one with Digitax, with Aquatech. I hope we'll start that in the next month or so. Again, you'll see now we'll end up with 2 compliance applications. I don't know, maybe we need to rethink how we approach this so that we don't end up with duplicate applications. I don't have a solution for that at the moment, because eventually they'll sell to their customers. These will sell to their customers. But our goal is really ERPNext adoption eventually. So part of this compliance is this what we call Frappe working groups. So what we are doing on the compliance applications is part of there's a larger group called Frappe Working Group on Compliance, which is made up of Ume from Frappe, Smith Vora from Reliance, and I. So Smith, they built the first compliance application, I think, on ERPNext, I'm not sure. So much of the learnings or the lessons we got when we were building Kenya compliance came from what India compliance has, for example. In fact, if you look at the code and how we structured it, it's basically India compliance. That's how we learned. The reason I'm mentioning this is like, when you see what you have built, it might appear like we started building, but we kind of borrow a lot from other people. So even if you want to build for your country, assuming you're not from Kenya, or even if you want to build for Kenya, what you do is just go check what has already been built because it's open source. You see how to structure it and so on and so on. Makes your life a bit easy. In terms of other, this is not collaborations, but if you go to ERPNext, for example, at the moment, the page you are taken to is what we call country landing pages, for example. If you visit Kenya, there's a country landing page with all the applications built for Kenya. If you go to Burundi, it's the same. If you go to Tanzania, it's the same. I think we should have one for Zambia soon, and so on. So that if someone visits the landing page for their country, they should be able to see the localizations of compliance for their country, who are the customers who are using ERPNext in that region, and so on. That is it, actually. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mushai, for that insightful speech. So coming up next, we have David Gitau. He's also a member of Navari team. He's going to speak on basically eTIMS compliance and part of utility billing. So I'll give the stage to him so that he can have it and maybe give us a talk on it as well.
So, hi everyone. I'm David Gitau, a software engineer at Navari. Today I'll be discussing about my journey as a Frappe developer and mention some of the projects we've worked on, mostly on compliance, that is Kenya compliance, eTIMS. Frappe developer. So typically this is mostly, I would say, the normal journey for most of the developers. So the first day I was introduced, it was entirely new. So I don't know what Frappe is. I was actually out of campus, so I have some basics, but I haven't interacted with it. So the first few days is you get into some documentation, some videos. You get to learn about some things, what is a doc type, what is a workflow. You don't even know what ERPNext is, most of the business processes. So the first few months is that learning process. Then you start now getting into it, you start building solutions, right? So you have some ideas, some features that are required, and you go on the journey of implementing those. So after that, now you have your application is live, customers are using it. Now you actually come to see how it works on the daily business operations, right? So if, for instance, it's the teams, the customers now are using it, you start getting that feedback. So this is the important journey, I would say. So I'll start with the story. So as I've mentioned, I've worked on eTIMS. So there's one customer we have. One day I receive a call. They tell me one of the salesperson is arrested, right? I ask why. They say they are being accused of fraud. Reason being, a customer came, they bought some goods, they received a normal invoice with a QR code attached. But once they scan that QR code, the amounts that they get don't match what they paid, right? So they'll start to say, these people are kind of, but then it's not the issue, it was just a simple bug from our end, right? It didn't pick the correct tax code. And you have to kind of explain to them, no, wait, we'll fix it, we'll do a credit note, generate a correct invoice. And that helps you to learn a lot because you kind of have to know how to deal with those situations, not just the coding bits, but also how to manage customers and all that. So along the way, you'll experience so many challenges, so many bugs, and you just need to know how to deal with them, and that's part of the growth. So after now you have your solutions, you have challenges, that helps you to grow. You kind of now know how to approach things differently, right? How do you design your code better, right? How do you solve some these issues? Yeah, and eventually you come to realize that technology is growing daily. Whatever I found, for instance, the time I was joining, we were in Frappe. I think version 16 was being released. It was version 14 to 15. Right now we have version 16, right? So you have to learn, always know. I have to convert those applications ahead on version 14 or 15 to 16, right? There are some new technologies, some front-end framework, e.g. Vue.js, React.js. So you have to adapt with time. And that's the journey. Even 40, 30 years down the line, you'll still be learning new things if you're still implementing. So today I'll talk about some of the projects we've worked on, majority on Navari as a team, but I'll mention mostly I'll focus on Kenya compliance, that's the team, and touch a bit on utility and method billing. So Moshe had mentioned a bit about the eTIMS bit. We have integrated via Slate 360. We had initially done a direct one. The application is also there. If you're able to, it's on our GitHub. I'll share a link after. So the way we've integrated this is we have now the ERPNext, whereby we've built the application there. Then we work with the third-party integrator called Slate 360, who shares the data with KRA. So that's the architecture around it. Most of the features we'll see are based mostly on the transactions. That's sales invoices, purchases. We also share some items with the KRA. You have to classify them. Somehow we'll see some customer information, etc. And also the solution will come with some advanced dashboards and reports to assist you. So I'll do a quick demo. I don't know if we can see it well. So I'll show a demo on. So this is the application. I don't know if you can be able to see it correctly. Yes. So the main things that we deal with, as I said, we have some masters, mostly items, customers, and invoices and purchases. This is the information that you'll have to share with the KRA. And then we have some setups. This is mostly when you're doing the first installation. You have to configure something so that it's correctly set up. There are some codes that you fetch from eTIMS as well, but mostly those will use on the items. So there's that setups here, settings. You can have so many setups on your application, on your site, if I say only an instance, based on the companies you have, etc. Most of these details, for instance, these ones, there are some authentication details that you'll get from Slate once they onboard you. Other than that, we'll start with the first process that I said you'll register the item. KRA requires you to do some classification. There are some codes here you are supposed to match to that item. And then once you do, you are able to submit to eTIMS. And that now item you can use later on to do some invoicing. Yes, so that is it. Then after items, we go to customers. We also share the customer data. So if you have, for instance, a tax ID, though it's not mandatory, when you're sending invoices, you want the invoice to pick that customer tax ID. After we've done that, yeah, we're able to share to eTIMS, and then we are set up to do our invoicing. I'll just demonstrate for now our sales invoice. So we can do a new sales invoice for this customer. The process, we make it as seamless as possible. You don't have to, unless when you're adding a new customer or an item, it doesn't interfere with your processes. So you'll create an invoice the normal way, pick your taxes, do all that. And on submit, it automatically shares with KRA eTIMS, that is, and you get back a QR code that you can share with the customer. We'll see that. So after it's submitted, we get back some response, some info you can see here, with even a QR code that you can print and share with the customer. Yeah. So other than that, there are some insights you can get. There's a dashboard that helps you to track some progress, maybe when invoices are paid, etc., such things and reports. So it's a kind of, yeah, once you can get all those insights from those. Yes, so other than eTIMS, we've worked on another solution, though most of these features are kind of work in progress. I'll mention a bit. So one of in fact, there are many areas I would say that are kind of not fully covered. Some of the basic concepts are already developed, but we don't have, let me say, an advanced for most of this. The one of it is the utility and rental billing, and it's a project that we saw this need, and we have been working on it. So I'll mention just a few things that we've worked on, and others. I don't have a demo right now, but I'll mention a few things we have worked on and others that are upcoming. So currently we've worked on the utility billing, that is from billings, things like if you want some meter readings for water, electricity, all that. Then we mix it with the rental billing, because that's where most of these utilities are required, these bills. So we've also done property management, it's there. And one of the main features that we have is you can be able to generate those bills automatically, and then at the end of the month, we can be able to consolidate all those bills into one invoice that you share with the customers. So you don't have kind of to give them some segregated this. Automatically, you're able to generate those. Some work in progress. We are working on a customer portal, whereby now we can be able to make even the customer experience a bit better. They can be able to log in, request for some services, for instance, see their billing, pay, all that. Later on, we also will also work on some integrations, if possible, some smart meters for utility billing, etc. Yeah. So thank you. If you can access our GitHub. So that's where most of our solutions are. All of them open source. Feel free to give us some stars and contribute. Thank you.
So, hello guys, my name is John. I'm a software developer from Navari Limited. I'm here to talk about my developer experience using Frappe and ERPNext and how it has really impacted my life. So initially, I was more of a technical developer, really focusing on coding part of it, more technicality, how I could optimize how fast functions were running, etc. But I rarely gave understanding about how business actually works, or how customer really approves a software that you have actually created. So the traditional developer mindset, this is actually how I was. I was more code focused, technical oriented, and not like giving more incentive on how like business operation actually worked. So now when I actually met Frappe and ERPNext, sort of got a mind shift whereby I felt as if I was, my role in life was actually like navigating away from what I was wanting to do in life. I wanted to become like a developer, maybe create the hardest algorithms and all, but ERPNext has taught me like you should actually master the different business and business operations that are actually within the system, such as accounting, financial reporting, and stock procurement. Let's use a real life use case, such as the financial reports within ERPNext. We recently had a customer who wanted a customization in the financial statement reports, whereby currently the ERPNext report uses two types of filters for the reports. Uses the fiscal year filter and date range filter. Now the current customization that the customer required, they wanted a filter whereby they can filter via their accounting periods. Now this is something that is non-existent within the current ERPNext system. So it was really, I could say it was really overwhelming for me, because first of all, the code base was nearly above 3,000 lines of code. So it was really overwhelming. It took me some time. I even consulted with my other developers and asked them, how do I like start into this? And The first person who I went to was Brian Jogu. He's our lead consultant at Navari. He told me to, first of all, sit down, understand how the report actually works. And by that, I had now to go back to business school a little, understand what actually is a profit and loss statement, what actually is a cash flow, what is a balance sheet. I'd like to go back business school a little bit and then understand what the dynamics of the engine that actually processes the report, so that I can actually now extend the current reports in ERPNext, so that I can actually customize and create the intended software that the customer actually required. So the solution that we came up with the help from Brian, who's our consultant, we created a doc type that's called a period definition. So it's non-existent in ERPNext, whereby you select the fiscal year, it fetches the start and the end of the fiscal year. Then we create a period name, and we give a start and the end date. And then we have a place where we record the companies, say company X or something. Then after you save it, you can generate the accounting periods. So what this does, it will, in the background, it will actually create accounting periods for the created companies here that you have selected. And now, onto the new report, which we are extending from the standard ERPNext reports. We now added a filter whereby we can filter by the period, and now we select the period start and the period end. After we gave this to the customer, they actually approved of what they initially required, and this actually made me proud because I was, it helped me understand, let me say the business operations bit of it, because accounting for me is very, very hard. I hated business in high school, so I didn't know 7 years later it would like haunt me. So the key lesson learned after that is understand how to build. It's not all day as a developer, and I'm not against any developers, is understand what you're actually building, regardless of if it's a discipline that you have never worked with. Take time, understand if it's a business, understand accounting, understand stock, then collaboration. The same way Brian Jogu helped me is the same way that I'm going to, like, if a person comes to me, I'm going to help them the same way, and also grow beyond your comfort. This actually means you're not subjected to a certain discipline. If push comes to shove, you must go beyond what you actually know, so that you can actually be able to, like, deal with what's coming. I hope you understand. So this is how I got to transform from how do I code this, or maybe what business rule am I implementing. So it's more of, if a customer right now comes and asks me they need a customization of a sales invoice. So it's more of how am I going to implement this? If I write this code, maybe after I submit this sales invoice, the customization that I've done, how is it going to affect accounts? How is it going to affect stock? How is it going to affect maybe customer data such as outstanding balance? So this shift, as you can see, I've summarized here, is what Elevate is now. I can say that has elevated me, because I'm still not a great engineer. I'm getting there, but it's what elevates a good developer to a great engineer, and I'm really thankful for the Navari team providing a very safe and working environment. And thank you, Brian, for helping me as a consultant. Thank you. That's all.